the one, the only, Ben Good afternoon, welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun to Lean On. Today we're doing Siman Reish Lamed Vav, Hilchos Kriya Shema Shel Arvis. The last week of Chelik Beis in Shulchan Aruch Yomi is pretty significant to complete 240 simanim in a pretty short period. I think a little more than a year we've done this. I want to talk today about Halacha Gimel. Gimel states, Matzah Sibur Shakaro Kriya Shema V'rotze Lamod B'Tfilah. You walk into a Marav minyan and they're up to Shmona Esrei. What do? Do you start from the beginning and risk losing saying Marav with a minyan, or do you stop in Marav? So the halacha is Yispal Imam. You should daven Shmona Esrei with the tzibur. And then afterwards, privately, you say Kriya Shema with the brachos, even though you're losing on Smichas Gula Tefillah, which basically the bracha after Kriya Shema, both in the morning and night, is a bracha about Gula, right? You see this Mitzrayim we mentioned over there. You're supposed to be Mismach Gula Tefillah is a good thing. It's not an obligation necessarily, but it's a good thing. The Gemara says, Tanoim and Amoraim were able to a day they were able to be Samach Gula Tefillah. They were extremely happy. Seems like it's a good thing. So, as opposed to Shachris, at Marav, it's more important to daven Tefillah b'tzibur. And in the morning, if that were true, you walked into a Shachris minyan up to Shmona Esrei, you do not daven with the minyan. Rather, you go and you daven from the beginning and say Berachos Kriya Shema, even if it means losing out on Tefillah b'tzibur. Now, as we're going to learn, I think, I don't know what comes up over here, because I don't know where the Shulchan Aruch brings it up, but technically the Gemara discusses whether Tfilas Arvis is a Reshus or a Chova. Tfilas Arvis is an obligation, or is it discretionary? And the Gemara concludes basically it's discretionary. So first of all, the whole institution of Marav is discretionary. The idea of davening Tfilah b'tzibur, even Shachris or Mincha, there's no chiyuv to daven b'tzibur. It's a nice thing. Your Tfilah is seemingly more listened to by God if you daven it with a quorum of 10 people. But you have these two things going over here. You have something which is Tfilah b'tzibur, which is not obligatory. Marav itself is not obligatory. It's Shmona Esrei. Kriya Shema is mitzvah d'oraisa at night. The brachos are mitzvah d'Rabbanan, and we forgo being Samach Gula Tefillah at night. And in the morning, right, where you're chayav to daven Shachris, it's definitely an obligation to daven Shachris, Shmona Esrei in the morning. Obviously, also Shachris down with the tzibur is not obligatory, but it's a nice thing to do. Why are we more careful by Shachris, where there's an obligation to daven Tefillah, to be Samach Gula Tefillah, as opposed to Marav or not? And I think it really goes into the idea, what is the idea behind being Samach Gula Tefillah? Samach Gula Tefillah, basically, you talk about the Gula of Mitzrayim, which ultimately alludes to, hopefully, the Gula that we'll have in Yemos HaMashiach. Our personal freedom that we'll have from the Yetzer Hara, all these Gulas are included in Gula, and we're supposed to be redeemed. Eventually, we'll get out of Egypt, both on a national level and on a personal level. So, it's a very happy thing. What does that have to do with davening to Hashem? Davening to Hashem is about the present. Is about, I always said, Tefillah is, to analyze your situation. When you get a time, 3 times a day, to analyze what you're doing in life and where you're headed in life. Did I make the right decision? So what should I do going forward? Tefillah is really the opportunity to look forward and to plan our day and to make sure we're on the right kivon, kavana, right direction. Make sure that our lives are going in the right direction. We're making the right decisions. And it gives you time to contemplate in the 13 middle brachos all the different things that I would want out of life. And that's really what it is. You're not davening to God to ask you for something. If you daven to God, I'll give it to you. If not, no, that's not the idea of tefillah. Yeah, tefillah is a personal thing. It's to mechaven you. Right? You're davening to yourself. Da lifnei miata ome. You're standing in front of yourself. Sometimes we're ahead of ourselves. We don't know. Take a step back. Take a step back and then take a step forward. Take a step back. Reflect. Where am I? Where am I going in life? What's my direction in life? And then you take a step forward and you daven Shmona Esrei and you contemplate that during Shmona Esrei. It's not davening to God. I heard Ben Shapiro say, you can't imagine that davening is like a gumball machine. You put a quarter in, God gives you a gumball. That's not the way it works. That's not the pshat in tefillah. Simpletons think like that. And most of the ultra-Orthodox world is simpletons, to be honest with you. But a person with intellectual capacity realizes there's a lot more behind tefillah than that. And it's really just to get you organized and to get you in the right direction, going in the right direction. And when is that so important? Chakras. Because chakras is the beginning of your day. You have to decide what you're going to do the whole day. At Ma'ariv, your day is over, basically. Your day is over. The point of Ma'ariv is not so much looking forward. You'll do that in the morning, right? You'll do that in the morning before whatever you're going to do during the day. You daven usually. You'll do that in the morning. But at night, it's time to look back at the previous day, to contemplate. And the idea of Gula is Fila. Gula is the end point, right? We want to direct our lives obviously it's small by small step by small step, until we get to the final goal of the Gula. Gula is the end point, the ultimate climax, where we're redeemed, we're free. So in the morning, you're looking forward. And when you have aspirations looking forward, you want to have the end game in mind. Obviously, you can't get there today, but you want to be mechaven, you want to get your life going in a direction, and you'll get to the Gula. That's why Smichas Gula Tefillah is so important in the morning, because the whole point is preparing your day. How do I get, right? Obviously, it takes into account the small steps, but you have to take small steps in a certain direction. I want to get to being free, to the climax. But at night, that's not so important, because at night, it's more of a review of what happened during your day. And anything that you're focusing on during Tefillas Ma'ariv is really just a review of your day. And a review, when you review your day, you want to look at things more analytically on a smaller basis. You're not focusing on the end point, on the Gula so much. Yes, it is important when you fix certain things in your day, you fix them accordingly so you get to the end point. But when you're looking back at what you did during the day, like a cheshbon nefesh type of thing, so when you're doing that, you want to be more analytical, look at it on a smaller scale. And when you're looking at something on a smaller scale, you don't have in mind so much the Gula. You don't have much. You obviously want to realize it's going to get you there, but you have to analyze it on a more simple level, step-by-step level. So Smichas Gula Tefillah is important at night, but not as important as in the morning, and that's why there's a discrepancy in the halacha. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.